So the big question is this: how do investors like us who don't have a PhD in finance or millions to start investing, how do we grow our bank accounts to build real savings and retirements and yet still have the time to do what we really love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. All right, hey guys, John Boone here with the Stock Market Secrets Podcast. Super excited to talk today about a cool little event I was just at, and an awesome principle that you can take from it and use to your advantage to go out there and crush it. So there's this really cool guy. He's at Georgia Tech. He's an industrial design major, and he's teaching, he graduated, and then he came back, and now he's teaching a class. Super cool stuff. And it was pretty, like, this cool presentation about, designing your life, stuff like that. And there was some, cool stuff, good stuff for the quote book. Super excited for that. But there was this one thing he talked about, and I thought it was really powerful and applicable to, going out there and turning whatever it is that you're working on into, a more successful, more consistent reality in everyday life, and how you can apply that to financial markets to make more consistent returns on your investments and also have consistent success, which is super important because, one thing Richard said was, he did a little bit of options trading, which I thought was awesome. He's more like the engineering thing, which is super cool. That's what he knows is working. But he talked just for a little bit about options trading, which is super fun. I'm very impressed by people that start with options, because options, as you guys know, and it's like chapter 21 of the book, they're pretty freaking leveraged investment vehicles, right? So they're a little bit sketch, a little bit more dangerous than traditional equities, which is totally cool. It's just a risk you got to understand. So I have mad respect for people that just start trading options, since it is, essentially, right? Like, the deal is, if you get something wrong on an options trade, you lose your entire the amount of money that you risk. So you're risking your whole position with the balls that, like, you have to get this right, and that's when really strong technical analysis skills come into play, because if you have very strong technical analysis, you can get them right. You're going to be very well rewarded, because with options, since you're risking more, there's obviously a significantly higher opportunity for gain, right? So you have a higher amount of money. On your left, hey, thanks, man, which is super cool. And something I'm transitioning into a little more now that I've got years and years of experience. And you have to understand that with all of those positions, you have to be right on the technicals, or else you're done, right? So anyway, I thought it was really cool. He connected with me on that. And he was talking about how in the markets and in life, moving away from what the masses were doing or whatever was super popular, and then going out and engaging in your own journey to get outstanding results and crush it with what you're doing, more so than if you just follow the traditional path or didn't work out to plan your future, right? Which is what his whole little thing was about, which is super cool. Because he was talking about starting in college and fun stuff. So he was talking about that, and then he said this one thing, and it was about a trip he took, right? So I feel like this guy definitely read the 4-Hour Workweek, which is awesome. He was talking about vagabonding, and international travel a lot. He did a lot of international travel. He works on startups, tech companies, which cool stuff. But yeah, it's really cool. So he took a trip to France for a while. It was half a year. And after he came back, he was at this company working remote, and everybody left the company, which was crazy. And essentially he took it over as the newfound president, which was super cool, because everybody else left, so there was just nobody left to be president or whatever the position needed. There was just not a soul there to actually do it. So he got that awesome thing, and he took that and he ran with it, right? Which is awesome, super cool. Take advantage of those opportunities. That was the one thing he was super big about, right? With both his companies that he worked with, the ones he started, but also working, in college with professors, right? So he was talking a whole lot about sending people an email, going to their offices, and using that as a means to facilitate like an in-person conference, or just take it from there and start like a research project or mentorship under them, which is really, really cool. And it's extremely powerful, especially at a school with, tremendous professors, which is awesome. So talk about that. And let's go this way, yeah. And he says when he came back from this trip from France, he essentially took what this company was, since he was now the president of it for no reason other than like everybody like quit. So he had no option but to go out there and really take the reins and crush it, which was super, super important for him. So he came in there, and what he did was he started giving a presentation, right? So they did in-person, like live coaching presentations for big groups of people, big groups of companies. And what they would do is they would go, get everyone together, and then they talked about something called like lifestyle planning, lifestyle design, kind of like the stuff talked about in 4-Hour Work Week. It's like figuring out your ideal future, which is really cool stuff. Just like taking where you are, and then like with Think and Grow Rich, I think that if you guys seen that book review on YouTube, super, super powerful book, changed my life. It's like setting those long-term goals, and then sticking with them, right? At this seminar, he had us do exactly that, and it was really surprising because there was like probably, dare I say, like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 other people in the room that like had long-term goals, and it was like, whoa, right? Because at a fundamental level, 2%, give or take, of the population like has strong ambition to get out there and improve their lives and crush it, which is really, really staggering from a numbers perspective. But it takes a lot to like have the guts and the ingenuity and the personality to just go out there, especially in financial markets, and say, look, I actually want to forge this tremendous future for myself and the people around me, because I think it's important and it matters. And that's really, really awesome. So like you guys just like listening to this podcast and being like, I'm going to learn about the stock market, like that is so cool. Because they put you in front of so many people that just don't care and don't have the effort in it. And that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people that are above you, right? So I'm super big on what he was talking about, which is like finding the smartest people that you can and then learning from them, which is just an amazingly powerful way to kind of growth hack and start growing exponentially faster than possible before, which is super awesome. So anyway, he would come back from this trip in France. He takes over this company, and what he does is he gives a presentation like every single week to like 20 people, and like he doesn't stop, right? Their company, they do it every single week without stop, and all of a sudden they were taking the company from almost nothing to actually off the ground, and they were growing. He didn't talk a whole lot about numbers. I guess it was private, but I mean, it sounded like they really crushed it with that. And it all came down to consistency. And then also, I think it was them finding their message, right? So they would do the same thing over and over and over. And they got really, really good at it, which was super powerful for them, since that was basically their whole business, right? So really, really cool stuff. And it comes down also, like Russell Brunson, like all the stuff he talks about a whole lot, especially in like the webinar business or the info product business. Really, anything with, getting organic content out there and then using that to help people change their lives, which is just super cool stuff, is that consistency of getting it done every single time. And I was thinking about, when I started trading stocks, I traded 9 to noon, very beginning. The one thing that was difficult, the market, at least when you're starting, right, it's not very predictable. You're learning, you got to go through the process, you got to figure it out. And the only thing that I ever found consistent in the work I did was, first of all, the 9 to noon work day, right? So trading 9 to noon, and then 5 days a week. That 5 days a week really grounded me, and it forces you to get super good, because you're not gonna have perfect setups every day, right? But you have to be there every day in case there is that perfect setup, because that perfect setup can make up, a month of income for you, which is it's amazing. What a crazy green day can do to change your portfolio position and have tremendous growth. It's just really powerful to finally be able. So like with a normal position, right? I was talking, with Richard. He said like 4% returns annually, which is just terrible. Because they're like 9 stocks go up, 40% a day, and like 4%, easy, right? But it's understanding that you have to be there consistently and making those trades and persevering through the difficulties so that you can get in some future where all of a sudden you're talking a whole lot about transition into work after college. And he was specifically focusing like on how he went from, I think he was doing like, he was really, I think probably 18 hours work, and he was doing on a phase, like one sleep at a time, right? He would sleep exclusively at night in one case. So he was like 6-7 hours a night, and he was going really, really, really hard to get that stuff done so that he could have this extra time to go out and pursue what he was super, super passionate about, and then crush it with that, which was really, really, really cool, really inspiring stuff. And what I saw with that was he had to focus, right? So he was really, really cool guy. He was focusing on like, he was working at school, and then he was working a job, then he was working at a company, and then he was working at a startup. I mean, he was doing a whole lot of stuff, like 5 things at a time. But the one insanely important thing, and if you guys saw my video on the one thing, that book is so ridiculously powerful. It changed my life. In the one thing, it's like finding that one thing, and that's what we talked about, was the importance of having that insanely strong focus beyond any reasonable doubt, so that when things get easier or something mess around, you always have that one focus that you can go towards. And that's why right now I'm really, really, I got my daily journal, and I'll live a couple of goals a day, which is super, super important. Is to like, I don't think, oh my God, a lot of people talk about this, but it's ridiculously important. Is planning your day out like the night before. It'll like quadruple your productivity instantly. You don't have to have a professional daily journal. Just get like a journal, and then the night before, like write out like a little timetable of all the hours left in the next day. Right? I do every single hour, and then I'll plan. When am I gonna sleep? When am I going to go to school? When am I gonna do this work? Am I gonna do this and this and this? And when you plan all that stuff out in advance, all of a sudden you realize that like, whoa, I have like 6 extra hours in this day. What was I doing for those 6 hours earlier? Now I'm going to be able to get a whole lot extra stuff done, and it really translates into the work you do, right? So we had this project, tons of projects, but we had this English project, right? We just like, there's probably one big paper we do this semester, and this one big paper is about a book we read of poems, which is cool, I guess. I don't know. So this paper was due today, and a lot of people, they were in class today, and they were like still working on it, and it made me realize the really important power of imposing these time limits, these deadlines, these blocks of work in your daily life, right? So what I did to finish my project, probably, I don't know how long other people spent on it, but it was like last Saturday, and at my daily journal I had a bunch of stuff going on, because you got stuff to do, which is super cool. You plan it out so that it gets done, and then you have your overarching daily goals. Usually for me there's like 3 of those. I think 3 is a good number. You get it done, you're really, really successful, and you've had an amazing day. Sometimes you focus on just one. It's awesome. I could love to do that. So anyway, I'm doing that, and I have this 1 hour block at like 5 o'clock, and I say, look, 5 to 6 o'clock, I'm just gonna write this report, and so that's what I did. And I sat down. You have to like remove all distractions, right? It's with anything you do. With 9 to noon trading, right? That's 3 hours of time. Honestly, you could get most of the work done in an hour and a half if you're really, really good. And it's a strong market day. But trading 9 to noon is just so fun. I love the whole thing. So as you trade 9 to noon, right, you're taking probably like years of most portfolio growth, and you're compacting that into 3 hours, right? So you're doing the work that would traditionally take, minimum months, sometimes years, depending on the market, depending on the day, depending on the trading. But you're taking what essentially would take other people these massive spans of time and compacting it into just a couple short hours that are insanely the way. I love it. And that's kind of what I would do with this English project, what I would do with these projects where I knew, like, hey, look, there's this deadline. I got to get this thing done. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set myself a very, very specific period of time to do it. And that was 1 hour from 5 to 6. And then I just sat down and all I did was write. That's what I did, when I was writing the book. I would wake up in the morning and I would just go to my desk. Hey guys, thanks. And all I did was write. Whoa. Which is super, super powerful, because when you limit your focus to one thing and you just completely tune out of anything else possible, right? Oof. It's a totally different game than going, partially committed. It's a totally, totally different game than when you're tracking, when you're working on multiple things, because look, it's really, 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 like, multitasking is cool. I love reading and walking or checking stocks, and it's awesome. Thanks, guys. But if you look at, getting the absolute most out of your day, the number one thing you can do is sit down and say you're going to do one thing, and then, like, seriously cut everything else. I remember when I was writing the book, there was this thing. I was spending too much time researching with Wikipedia, or not Wikipedia. It was like, I don't know. There were so many websites. They're all in the works cited. Wikipedia, Wikipedia just didn't have a whole lot of good information, to be honest. And I guess, it makes sense. So there was a lot of really in-depth research with like local wealth managers, local financial websites. Maybe they were like bonds. And these were like people based out of like Missouri, but they had this blog, or they had these websites, and they had distilled, kind of years and years of their research and their experience and their degree in finance or whatever they were doing. But most of them were, financial advisors, certified accountants, stuff like that. And they had, these websites where they would share their stuff, which is awesome. They're trying to educate the public, which is amazing. Tremendous, tremendous stuff. And I get caught up, right? I was super, super excited about it. But I would spend, hours and hours just reading these articles and learning about these very, very specific nuances of the personal finance space, rather than going out and writing. So what I did was I would break it up. So on Saturday, I would spend, 15 hours researching and taking notes and all that awesome stuff. Usually paper notes are really, really cool because your handwriting is just so powerful. Hi guys, thank you. Versus typing, it's just the retention is a lot higher when you handwrite, which is really, really powerful stuff. So I would do that, and then the next day on Sunday, I'd spend 15 hours writing, right? So I would have nothing open but the document. And that was really, really powerful, because then instead of having to like half focus on writing and half focus on research, or worry about, look, there were some very, very, very granular things, and I was like, does this really matter? Instead of having to worry about that on the fly, what I could do is I could isolate and say, look, don't sweat it. All I'm doing today is research. And I would focus on that one thing. When I focused on that one thing, there was no longer a worry of how is this going to come out? How is it going to turn? On your left. Thanks. It was just, look, I'm just going to research the best of my ability, and I'm going to make it happen. And then the next day it was, all right, cool. I've got all the information. Let's just spend this time writing, thinking about my experiences in the marketplace and distilling down some of the amazing, principles and expertise into the content, so that I knew exactly, which research was bogus, like which research just didn't matter. And then I was able to focus, exclusively on the stuff that had an immediate impact on, anyone that read it, which would be essentially what was the final manuscript, which is awesome. So yeah, it was really awesome stuff. So, way to think of that principle, right? When I, sometimes listen to music pumps me up. I think music's important. If it helps you, it doesn't help you, sometimes it would distract me. It just kind of depends. Sometimes writing, it depends on the mood I'm in. Hey, thanks guys. If I'm writing, a lot of the times drafting out the music really hard, but then like originality, I have to go turn it off and focus. It just kind of depends. Trading, I love music. I always trade with music pretty much. It's awesome, and it puts you in that state, right? Of you find something comfortable where you're familiar with it, and it doesn't distract from your one thing. So for instance, with trading, right? Like if I'm trading stock, I'm not doing anything else. It's complete and total focus. Partially because I love it, but also it's like you got to understand that if you're going to perform at your peak capacity, you have to give your peak accountability. You have to give your peak percentage. You have to give everything you get, everything. Right? So the financial markets, I mean, people severely punish the use of your time or whatever. And if you look away and that stock goes down 20% in like 5 seconds, you didn't have a stop loss, or 5 minutes, whatever it is. And I think sometimes a lot of people, they start trading. I know when I started trading, I was super, super trigger happy, very, very quick to make trades, which turned out, it was a mistake, right? You have to give a lot of trades time to work out. And if you don't give it time to work out, you're going to get messed up. And if you get messed up, you're not going to trade as well. You're going to have worse returns. And the sole problem with it is a lot of times impatience at the beginning. And you just kind of have to develop over time a sense of total and complete understanding that you can give the underlying stock, the company, whatever. You can give it as much time as it needs. You can let it do its thing. And then once you understand that, and once you have a fundamental, understanding of stop losses in Chapter 19, it's really, really powerful, because you can say, look, I understand that there's, it could go wrong, but look, I'm just going to stick with it. I'm going to let it happen. I'm going to make it work. And I totally complete confidence in it. Oh no, I messed up. Whoa, okay, that's not good. What are we doing? I have a plan. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make it work, guys. Sometimes, right now, I'm turning my bike around. I got to pedal it out. And I got to turn around again. Then we'll go back up. Sometimes, that's just how it is. You got to take a step back. You got to relax and say, look, I'm going to use my discipline. I'm going to use my understanding of the situation. I'm going to train my game. I'm going to trim it down. And if I have to get up this, this is a hill. But sometimes in other aspects of your life, it's a bigger problem. It's a psychological problem. It's a mental problem. It just depends. Because once you have complete and total control over, whatever it is that you're doing, you have the insanely valuable ability to sit back and say, look, I've seen this before. I know what's going on here. And I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm going to take this to the next level of success that I can bring it to. Because I know that, the work's been put in at this point, right? So for my friend Richard, he was huge. He spent years and years of his life learning about industrial design, learning about all these math things, all these awesome concepts in college. And then he went out and he applied them into the marketplace. He worked an internship. Basically, he said he worked from day one of college to the end of college, which is awesome, right? So what I'm doing right now, that's the path I'm on so far, and I can't take it enough, because what he said was something that really, really struck with me, and it was take, the intensity that they were bringing, the kids, right? These kids are ridiculously crazy. They're amazing. They're working just like I was, right? I was up to like probably 2 or 3 a.m. constantly junior year. In high school, we get the grades and the scores and everything to, finish everything that had to get done so that I could, get the ability to attend, this school. And the work was there every single day for 4 years, right? And it's not just those 4 years, right? You got to understand, like, it's the background behind it. You don't just go from middle school, failing, to high school's, straight A's, all honors, AP, whatever, and then going to the best college you can find, right? It all comes down to that total life, that total work ethic. Because a lot of times, the academic stuff's there for a lot of students, which is awesome, and I saw it a lot. But then you think, okay, well, what's the difference between those people and then the ones that really, they go to like the top state school versus the ones who, are in Harvard? And, I know those people. And a lot of times the difference, it comes in at that total life commitment. And a lot of it's luck, It's stuff, and it's really racy stuff. But it really, let's see how we're going to do this. Oh my God, you're the best. Thank you. Is this thing where you take the effort and the rigor that you're putting in, He said it to school, and then he also said into your 9 to 5. You're gonna 9 to 5, and then apply it after school or after work or after whatever it is that you're doing, right? So with his example, he would be like, he got out of classes, and then he was working on a startup, and then he got his 9 to 5, and then he would get out of that, and he was working on a startup. He was doing bartending job, like all this, their stuff. And it's not like work to work, right? You don't want to just work to work. But it's more the foundational principle of saying, look, I'm going to go and attack the future that I want at full speed, because I have this long-term goal, and I know that to achieve it, it's just going to take the work to get from here to where I want to go. And then what he did was he took mentors and coaches as a way to get there, which is the fastest possible growth hack. That's like the entire message I'm trying to get across. I'm passing right now for you guys. I'm super, super excited about it. And hopefully, I think we're about to, with the launch of the 9 to noon, I mean, everything's going to be awesome. I got a whole lot of stuff brewing for you guys under the tunnel. And I'm so excited to be working with Catalyst, and it's amazing. With that stuff, right, it's all about, that idea that like you can get there and do it, but you can massively skyrocket your success, and the speed at which you achieve. I work with people that have been there, done that, and they're now willing to, be there for you and get you the same results, which is an insanely position to be in. I think we're so incredibly lucky to be in an age where that's, even remotely considered possible to or whatever, and it's awesome stuff. So anyway, back to the story. Richard comes back, he launches this company, or he relaunches it, it's like a startup, and he goes out and does this every single week for I think like, I don't know, half a year, I forget, he might have done it for years and years. I feel like it was, but anyway, he kept doing it over and over until what happened was the VP at Delta saw what he was doing and like said, hey, look, I really want to get you in to train, our team. I think it's really, really valuable content. So like that's what happened, right? And now he's speaking in front of, the VP of Delta and his entire team. And it's all because at the beginning, he went out and he said, look, we're just going to hustle, grind, and make it happen. And that's what he did. And that established his positioning in the marketplace to go out there and make it big in corporate. And now he's like teaching classes at Georgia Tech, really, really cool stuff about lifestyle design. It's not lifestyle design, not necessarily like for work stuff, but like life design. It's interesting. I don't know. He does some cool stuff, and it's interesting because the biggest thing behind it was that his insane passion and just commitment to keep growing and succeeding, just like people watching this podcast, right? That urge to be something more is what took him to that insanely powerful position, that really, really big growth in the marketplace, because at a fundamental level, he didn't settle. He met with people, listened to people, talked to people, and he was mentored by people that have been there and done that. And then he used that to leverage his own career, his own life to a whole nother level of success that would be almost, irreplaceable or incomprehensible on his own. And that journey is something that has just changed his life so much, because it opened up so much information. He would talk about, you get tens of thousands of dollars worth of just amazing, content from these awesome people he would just go out with, which is it's like the lunch or whatever, meet them in their offices, and which is so true, right? If you have the access to those, top people, those top performers, and you can, mirror what they're doing and then apply it, like it's worth so insanely much to just, spend an hour of time or whatever. You have to find it, right? And then once you find it, you turn it into that drive, you turn it into that success. The way you do it is by leveraging the experience and the knowledge of others who have like gone through the trenches, and then they can teach you, what they took them decades to learn. And this is also what comes about in a lot of books, but like having that connection with someone, because a lot of people don't write books, and which is a shame. It's a really big shame. I wish a lot of people write a book, but they just, people don't do it. Donald Trump, he like had someone like ghostwrite his biggest book. I don't know. He had a lot of books, so I guess that doesn't count. He's a cool guy. A lot of cool guys. And a lot of big people do that, I guess. It's always different depending on the situation you're in. And that's a really big thing to consider. So, hey, there's a lot of awesome stuff. There's a lot of awesome stuff here today, guys. I hope you got some tremendous value out of today's episode. And you take it, you go out there, and you crush it. All right, thanks. See ya. Want more stock market secrets? If so, go get your free copy of my best-selling book, 9 to Noon. You can get your free copy plus $11,176 of unannounced bonuses it took me years to uncover completely for free at 9toNoonSecrets.com. Inside 9 to Noon, you'll find the top 38 secrets you can use to double your portfolio every 2 years and make upwards of 10% per trade daily.